Hey everybody, welcome back to theclinicaltrialsguru.com. Again, it's theclinicaltrialsguru.com. Make sure you subscribe, okay, on YouTube. I'm trying to get my subscribers way the heck up there. Also on the blog, subscribe. So I do giveaways to kind of give people an incentive to subscribe. It's selfish on my part. I'm no Mother Teresa. But you don't want to miss out, because in addition to giveaways, alright, so who doesn't like free stuff, you're going to be getting tons of content, tons of practical advice. I'm all about practical advice. I hate talking about things that are like 20 years in the future, or that are just so abstract that they don't even apply to the real world, which is what actually is a lot of the discussions in clinical research is about, which is part of the reason why 5 years ago, or almost 6 years ago now, I decided to start this blog. So for those of you that don't know how this works, you email me, dan@theclinicaltrialsguru.com. I send you a response, and if it's good, I'll do a video on it. And I'll keep you anonymous unless you want me to mention you. But I keep you anonymous by default. Okay? So, this one says, I'm thinking of starting my own research site out of an MD's office. So this is the SMO model. Okay? And for those of you who don't know what that means, go on my blog and search for SMO. SMO. Okay? I'm thinking of starting my own research site out of an MD's office. I have worked as a study coordinator for 2 years, but I need some help with the business aspect of things. How would you recommend formally contracting my first PI? What incentives should I be willing to offer? And what are your must-haves for a new research site? So, what I would do, even before you find the doctor, as crazy as this may sound, and you're going to see a catch-22 here, okay? Get a study. And you might be asking me, how do you get a study without a doctor? Well, it could be tough, but have a couple of physicians at least have their CVs on hand. So maybe you haven't formalized anything with any physician, but they're giving you their CVs so you can shop them around for studies. Alright, so at least have that so that you can get at least a CDA or even a feasibility questionnaire, or maybe a protocol synopsis from one of the sponsors. So you're going to have to hustle like a madman or a madwoman to get these studies. I can help you with that, actually. Also, once you get the study, then it's time to talk with the MD or with the physician about what incentives you're going to give them. I tell everybody, start low, okay? Offer them 8 to 10% of the total study payments as you get paid. Once you become profitable, you can give them a fixed salary, whether that's $3,000 a month, $8,000 a month, whatever your level of activity is. You're going to have to do the calculations and run the numbers. Every site's different, okay? I can help you with that as well. But that's what I would do. So the incentive should be, I can bring research to your practice. I can teach you the business. I would like for you, as the PI, to continue working with me, and I could probably work something out where you'll start getting a fixed salary from me after we do a few studies. But for now, I'll give you 10%, and you're going to get a chance to learn the business. You're also going to get an additional stream of income, and you're going to have some alternative treatment to offer your study participants. Okay, and clinical trials are not always treatment, but you'll have an alternative for their private practice patients to become study participants. So a lot of physicians will be okay with that. If they're not, keep looking until you find one. So for every 10 physicians you talk to, you're going to probably land 1 or 2 as a PI. And then never get dependent on that one PI, okay? Now, back to your other question, what are some must-haves for a research clinic? So you must have at least one room that is only going to be used by the study coordinator, okay? That's where you're going to want to keep all your study files, all the source docs, all the reg binders, all the patient charts for the patients participating in the trial in that locked study coordinator room. Preferably this room is big enough to fit 2 or 3 or even 4 coordinators, but if you just have enough space for one coordinator, that is fine. In addition, you'll need something like a conference room that people in the medical practice don't use. So oftentimes these medical practices are huge, but all the rooms are being occupied because they're busy. They have somebody using this office, another person using this one, a bunch of exam rooms. You may find a coordinator room, but then you may not have a room for the monitor to come work in when the monitors come to visit. So if you want to do at least 2 or 3 studies at any given time, which is what I would consider, when I would consider that you're actually in business. So if you just have one study, you're not in business. You're not actually a research company. You just have one study. But if you have 2 or 3 going on at any given time, you can call yourself a research company. In order to have that, you're going to have monitors coming in regularly, at least once a month or once every 6 weeks. So where are you going to put them? You can't put them in the waiting room. You may not be able to put them in the coordinator room. So make sure you can reserve a room. Even if you don't have a room that's always empty, make sure you have the ability to reserve a room, like a conference room for the entire day that the monitor's there, or maybe one of the doctor's offices. Maybe find a day that the doctor's not there where you can schedule the monitor. So that's a must-have. Another must-have is a drug room. So a locked, temperature-controlled drug room where you can store your drug. This has to be limited access just for study coordinator and PI. So that's another must-have for clinical research site. And that's what I can think of right now. So thank you for your questions. Keep them coming. Subscribe. Dan at theclinicaltrialsguru.com. Take care.